Hello everyone, welcome back. Let us try and understand a few economic concepts going forward along with the stock related videos so that it becomes easier for us to analyze and relate these two things together. So just go through this graph which I have shared. If you could see, the price of gold in 2003 per gram was around 500 rupees, which has gone up to 4,594 as of 24th June 2022. So what caused the price of these goods to go up? The important factor associated here is what is the today's topic, and that is inflation. So what is inflation? Inflation is the rise of price of goods and services over a period of time. So is it good or is it bad for an economy? Definitely we will be dealing with in this topic in this video. So what is the inflation? We understood in layman's term. We all know there is a lot of talk in recent time about inflation. It is 40 years high inflation rate which we are seeing. Is all those things have come up, and even in our business sense there is a lot of cost cutting which is happening, and these are all interrelated to inflation. Now let us quickly go ahead and try to see what is rate of inflation. Rate of inflation is the current price this year to the current price same day last year to the current price last year divided by into 100 gives us rate of inflation. That is the rate at which the prices have gone up. That shows the rate of inflation. Okay, that is one more thing. And inflation, why does this inflation happens? There are two factors which causes inflation. One is a demand pull and one is a cost push. So demand pull, suppose we have a product, suppose we have apples. When apples in a season we have a lot of apples, so there are so many apples and the buyers are less. So in that case there is less demand and automatically the prices will be low. But suppose consider that this is off season but still people want to have apples. So what will happen? There is limited resources and there are so many people who want to buy it, because the resources is limited, this thing is called as demand pull inflation, which is nothing but there is lot of demand but the supply is less. And another thing is cost push inflation. What if the resources are reduced? So what will happen? If a particular item needs a lot of resources when compared to last year to produce the same thing, so definitely the cost would go up. Suppose if consider that the labor's availability is less, so manually the labor's cost will go up, automatically the inflation happens. So this is what the types of inflation which we could see. This is not just the basic type of inflation, but inflation happens because of these reasons. So what are the measures to check inflation? There are various measures. We can either work on the supply side, we can either work on the cost side, or even the government and other sovereign agencies can pitch in and take the measures. So those things we will be trying to understand. So what are the supply side measures which can be taken to cut inflation? So what will happen if suppose some item is not available? We will try to import it from a place where we are getting. Now considering that Russia-Ukraine war is happening, India used to import a lot of oil from Russia, from Iran, from Iraq, etc. But because of this war crisis, Russian oil has, there is a limit, it has been limited about the import. So we'll have to look out for other options. So this is what is the supply side. We try to look at the other options and also increase the production. So the Gulf region, they are trying to produce more oil in order to cater to the needs of the global world. So that is what is the supply side measures. And coming to the cost side measures, what do we do? Once the prices of a particular item increases, we will try to cut down that cost. if suppose the price of the petrol is rising, and if we are using a vehicle, we'll try to cut down the use of vehicle. In shorter places, we'll try to commute by walk, or we will take the public transport. So those things cut down measures, and even technological innovations. Now, as I said, the petrol or diesel, they are natural resources, they are non-renewable. So what will happen, it will get exhausted as we keep using it, and once it is near to the exhaustion, what will happen, the prices will go up. So when everybody wants to buy that, they won't be available. So what is happening, we are going with solar related innovations, we are going ahead with ethanol blending in petrol. So these are all technological innovations to reduce our dependency on this petrol and diesel. And there is also government recourse measures. So you guys might have heard a lot about the Monetary Policy Committee. So this Monetary Policy Committee is also responsible to curb the inflation. There is a certain limit which Indian inflation could go, that is around 2 to 6%. We should be having at 4% with a threshold of plus or minus 2%. So it cannot go beyond 6% for 2 quarters consecutively. So those schemes, Monetary Policy Committee would take necessary actions in order to curb down the inflation. So these are few of the things which we would definitely be doing. I would cover a separate topic related to Monetary Policy Committee, how it was formed, and how many people are there, what is its representation within the government, and whether it's a constitutional body or a sovereign body. We will just try to understand these things. Okay, next let us go to the types of inflation. Types of inflation is creeping inflation. Inflation, definitely, as I showed in that gold example, there is a slow increase, because right now the salary or the cost of living has increased. So that has increased basically because the amount of money in people hand has increased. So that is creeping inflation, the slow inflation. And this galloping inflation, inflation comes at once. There is a huge cry right now, what we are seeing because of this Russia-Ukraine war, because of other crises. There is a galloping inflation, and sometimes there is hyperinflation, wherein the countries like Sri Lanka, they are in a debt trap. There is a high rate of inflation. There is no commodities available, but money also to buy. That is hyperinflation. So these are the things. And also there is sometimes a bottleneck inflation. Bottleneck inflation is nothing but by some means or the other, the demand is same, but the supply gets reduced. Suppose you consider in some of the right now monsoon is happening, and if monsoon does not go well, then definitely supply need food for our survival. But if monsoon fails, there is no production of food up to the mark. So this creates a bottleneck inflation. And then there is a core inflation. Core inflation is inflation in those core sectors which the government has identified. And also another important thing is with respect to, does inflation has any relation with the employment? Of course it does. It is well explained in Phillips curve. If you could see, the higher the rate of inflation, the lower is the rate of unemployment. And I would tell a very important example here. As I told, when inflation is high, which means there is a demand is high. When demand is high, which means there is a lot of companies which will hire a lot of people, because there is a lot of demand which is coming from the market, and they want to satisfy this demand of the customers. So what they will do? They will increase the production. To increase the production, the manpower is needed. So when inflation is high, the unemployment rate is low, but we should maintain such a situation wherein it does not shoot up, the inflation does not shoot up, considering that we have to give employment to everybody. That does not work in that way. At some point there is a threshold. After the threshold breaks, everything falls. So that is one thing about inflation. Next, inflation is calculated based on two categories. I told, that is wholesale price index and consumer price index. The wholesale price index is at a macro level. We will not go into intricate details about this, but just on a brief note, just consider that wholesale price index is on wholesale products and consumer price index is on day-to-day products. So this much is what we will try to cover in this video. Probably in the next video we will try to expand our horizon towards monetary policy committees and its recommendation. Till then, please understand these concepts and and if you find any difficulties, please revisit this video. And thank you very much for watching. Let's meet in the next video. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.